All right. So what I'm saying is that do I do Nas or Biggie? But this is what I mean. Nas, when he rhymed, notice from, because Planet Asia just gave me a verse and it made it noticeable. Nas, when he rhymes, he doesn't use background vocals.
Right.
It's just one take. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, a lot of guys didn't use background vocals. The only time you ever heard them is you might have heard it with us because we was a group. So other guys from the group is hitting your words.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you went in the studio, you wasn't backing yourself up.
Uh-huh.
But Biggie used all types of ad-libs and backups.
So was that a product of Bad Boy and
I don't
Puff's
think it was
training?
I'm not sure it was a product of Bad. I guess I would have to ask Puff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't really say that. I would have to now search if I heard background vocals before Biggie, and I'm sure I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure I heard somebody else backing themselves up on record prior to Big. But my question was, so I'm in the middle of like a bunch of stuff. So as we recording the Stet album, I'm also recording these solo albums, these daddyo records, and I'm finishing up my next album, and I'm doing a record with Planet Asia. He sends me his verse. There's no background vocals, nothing.
Right.
But it's fire. And I'm like, hold up. Am I, I'm asking myself, first of all, I'm asking myself, am I that good or am I that bad? Like, am I just, because I can't front. I like doing the background vocals because, I do little accents. Sometimes you can't really feel it as a listener. I'm ducking it real low, but it is enforcing my things.
Right.
But I'm asking, like, does that make me less dope? But then it's hard to say that because I can't say Big wasn't dope.
I'm just gonna say, I think you have to look at each track as its own artistic piece.
Right.
So if it doesn't require background vocals,
right,
let it go without it. But I mean, sometimes, the background vocals, it enhances the impact of the vocals.
I've been able to use even some of the modern techniques. I've been able to use like some of those ad-libs. Everybody say they Migos ad-libs, but not really Migos ad-libs. But I've been able to use some of that and it works out. I mean, I don't do the same thing like that 21 Savage does. I love what he does. He did it so well. I was like, if I come back with that, it's gonna be clear I'm copying him. But when he does that, 21. On God. I love that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't do it to that degree, but I like it. I like it. But I'm saying, like, even with this record, right? Like I said, right before I dialed into you, I'm cutting this record. So I'm cutting my vocal for this record that we have called The Culture on my album featuring Planet Asia. And I'm saying, well, on this track, I'm not going to do a background vocal because he didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to sound, I feel like it'll either sound like he outdoing me or it'll just sound unmatched. Right. Which, I mean, I always rap with guys that rap better than me. Like, I do that on purpose.
Why is that?
Because it's like playing chess. Like, why would I play chess with somebody I could beat all the time?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always looking for that next level of MCing. And I'm really not particular about where I find it. It could be in some 13-year-old in Japan. I really don't care. As long as I learn it. It doesn't bother me where I learned it, but I'm always looking to expand my craft to get better at what I do. I mean, I know how to rhyme already. That's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing it for so long. That's not a problem. But the issue of like improving on it, anybody worth their salt would do that. And so that's why that question came up. I know, we talking about other stuff, but that just came up and I'm still bugging out.
I love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Stop, Look, and Listen. I'm your host, LaTroy Gardner. This week, see, we already got the conversation popping before I even introduced the guest this week, but we have the founding member of the first hip hop band with hits such as Go Stetso, Sally, Talking All That Jazz, No BS Allowed, contributed to one of my favorites, Self-Destruction by the Stop the Violence movement. You know, ain't nothing like hip hop music.
Right. It's true.
And we're gonna prove it in this interview.
Yeah.
They have new material, just came out.
Yeah. Actually just hit the platforms today.
Right.
Because we was doing it like the independent thing, but it just hit the platforms today. So I was happy about that. Yeah,
so we got Stet, or better known to everyone, Stetsasonic.
Yes.
We got Stetsasonic Pisces, a fellow Pisces, because I'm one as well. We got Historian, brother Daddy-O. Welcome to Stop, Look, and Listen.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Anytime.
No doubt. So like we said before, Stetsasonic is back, new single. Now Y'all Giving Up Love.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I mean, you guys have been doing it from the beginning, but the sound is still kind of fresh. Like,
well, I mean, you have to try, at least attempt to connect with people. Let me say it that way. And this is what I mean by that. I always tell people, if you were to get stranded on an island and they only gave you 5 albums,
wow,
this story about, you could do it by yourself, you don't need a record label, you don't do all this. Those 5 albums that you would take would all be products of record companies. They wouldn't be independent records.
Right.
Because it took the team to put together Dre's Chronic. It took the team to put together Aquemini. It took the team to put together MC Breed's album or anything else that I love. I'm just mentioning stuff I love. But you know what I'm saying? It took teams to put those records together. And so approaching a new record for Stetsasonic didn't mean, oh, wow, man, we veterans, man. We know exactly what we're doing, man. We just gonna go in there. We just gonna kill it because nobody can touch us. It wasn't that. It wasn't that at all, bro. It was trying to figure out, even though there's a bunch of producers in the band, production-wise, what should sound like, lyrically, what are we talking about? You know, a big pet peeve to the group, like just a blackboard scratching moment to Stetsasonic is to be in there talking about, yo, I've been here, you don't know who I am. But, you know, we do any of that. That's just horrible to do. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we not doing none of that. So it just takes a little while to figure it out. And so what we did is we just, you know, and we're still doing it, just getting with folks, figuring it out, working with producers that understand who we are, but then producers that also understand the climate.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Because if we got with somebody that loves Stetsasonic, but
what's going on, fellas?
What you doing, Wise?
All right.
We got another member from Stetsasonic. Got brother Wise on the line. Welcome to Stop, Look, and Listen, brother.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, man?
Doing good. This is a blessing, truly an honor.
All right, thanks, man. No doubt. Good to be here, man.
All right, yeah, we about to get into talking about the new single. So, but you know how Daddy-O is. He has stories about everything. So
1 million stories. But yeah,
so I'm just gonna listen.
It's just an issue of finding those people that understand what's going on out there and understand us at the same time. You know what I mean? Because if we'd have got with somebody that just understand us, they might have made a record, but that record would have probably sounded like Go Stetso Talking All That Jazz.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say? And in their mind, because I'm sure Wise get this all the time, I be hearing some of the most, to me, idiotic comments in the world when people run up to you and say, man, you know what y'all should do? Y'all should do Sally over, man. I mean, they always talking about, you know what you should do, man, because people ain't really, people don't really know who you are, man. Y'all should do talking all that jazz over, man. We looking at them like I don't know who these, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. I understand their sentiment. Like I totally get their sentiment. I understand they love us and they want other people to love us too. And so they feel like, well, if you came back and did one of them new joints that y'all got, the old joints that y'all got and did it in a new way, now the new people are gonna get into it. But it doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Wow. You gotta be fresh and dope right now. Because if you're not fresh and dope right now, the stuff that you did in the past might not, if you put it this way, if you don't make any new records, then that's fine, because all they have is that to judge you from. But if you put out anything new and it's not fresh, it even taints the stuff you put out before. Mm-hmm. You got to be nice now, because we in that arena now. We in that arena now. Everybody, people say ain't no rappers, everybody mumbling rap. That's just not true. These cats is out here spitting now. So what I'm supposed to do, what Wise supposed to do when they out there spitting, we are who we are. We come from the genre we come from, all of that. That's fine. Okay, now all that's out the way, who we are, that we put out records in 88 and all that's out the way. Now what do? We don't come back and go to the beach, y'all. You don't stop. Keep on to the break of dawn.
We gotta spit.
We gotta spit.
We gotta spit.
So how did you all feel like coming back, and especially with everyone knowing you all from the golden age and trying to make music in today's landscape where it's such a fast food society where music is here one day and gone tomorrow, and there's so much groupthink culture. Like, how did you all feel jumping back into the ring?
We still got a lot left in the tank. You know what I'm saying? And we never got to finish what we started. I mean, that's how I feel personally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That there's still more in the tank. There's still a lot more that we got to do. And even to the point that we want to try to change the game.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that you either, it's like I say this to my kids all the time. You either dope or you're not. You either smart or you're not. So the bottom line is that for us, it's like, these are the conversations we have amongst ourselves. Me and Wise talk a lot individually too, just me and him on the phone. Mm-hmm. We have conversations about what it means to be Stet.
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean to be a guy in Stetsasonic? What does that mean? Who are we? And when we listen, especially now with Spotify and all this stuff that makes it a lot easier, not to say we don't own our own records and stuff, but Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all that makes it a lot easier to just dial up what you made. When we listen to what we made, we realize who we are. Mm-hmm. And so, like Wise said, everything else is about adding on to the cipher. Everything else is about completion. Everything else is about expansion, because you've already done that. But if you got more gas in the tank, if you still got more in you, it's like going more rounds. You know what I mean? In a boxing analogy, if you think about a guy, like, a lot of people don't like him. I love Floyd Mayweather. Floyd fights sometimes to the distance just because he got it in him and he likes the game. If you're not a boxing fan, you won't be into Mayweather. Because if you're not a boxing fan, you like knockouts, you like this, you like that, you like it to go all quick and end. But if you're a boxing fan, you see it's a couple of fights that Mayweather had that you see him in the corner saying, but I know I got him by points. Mm-hmm. He might have even got in a shot or two, but I know I got him by points because I'm playing this strategically. So I agree with Wise 1,000%. Like, when you feel like you got more in the tank, I think that changes the way you look at it. And I think it changes it from oh, these cats are doing something new. Oh man, so-and-so is this. Oh, they don't do things this way no more. I'm not saying that you don't care, and there's team members there for that. I'm not saying that you totally don't care. You should be attentive, but you almost look at it like, so what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they do. One thing I will say about this band, man, we've always been that way, man, since the beginning of our career. Like, let them do what they do, man. That's their business. Like, if they want to use a certain kind of sound, or if they want to perform a certain kind of way, or they want to make a record that has a certain kind of vibe, that's them. Let them do what they do, and let's do what we do.
All right, so now Y'all Giving Up Love, the group's first single since No BS Allowed in 1991.
Yes, sir.
Why now?
I think it's because we got more in the tank. I think. I mean, I sat with the guys. The story, the semi-story behind the record is, I heard it. I heard the beat. I told my man, Kevin Dean, I'm never going to play this track again until I get in front of Stetsasonic, because it's definitely a Stet track. I don't even want to hear it no more until I let the guys hear it. Right before COVID destroyed the world, or tried, damn near still trying to destroy the world. We went to Helmand, which is an hour out of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. We had a show. So we stopped, Wise and I, the rest of the guys are always usually in the city. Wise and I fly in, we stay at the lights, because we always stay by the light. Even though we do rehearsals in a rehearsal studio, we get a chance for the 3 MCs to be together and kind of build. And we built on it. They liked the beat. We tried it when we was out in Amsterdam. It worked like a charm. We came back. We went through a ton of subjects in terms of what we should write about. And we figured out that it should be kind of modern, kind of we still here, but not on that whole, look at me now and all of that kind of stuff, but and then some of it, we just got our little stuff for. I can't even lie. Some of it, we was just kind of picking at people. Like, that's why we say that line, you know what I'm saying? The one who was laughing on the internet, but now we smash on the internet, crash on the internet to just say Stet. You know what I mean? We getting on somebody about talking about us. You know what I mean? And then we just try to include, like, if you ever listen to any Stet records, you always see us include things we like. So we shout, you hear Wise say shouting out Philly because they love bikes, because we love Philly and we love what they do there. We love what the little boys do on the bikes. You know what I mean? But I just think that it's time to show, and I this is only possible for me. This is a Daddyo statement. This is only possible for me through my band, to show the prominence of classic hip hop. I do solo records, but it doesn't show the prominence of classic hip hop. It just shows the prominence of Daddyo. And that's fine for me, because that's the Daddyo stuff. But when I come back, I tell people all the time, I say, y'all might be able to throw a couple of rocks at me and stuff like that when I'm solo. But when I come back with my band, I'm untouchable, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the reason why now, too, is that I wanted to be a superhero again. So I got back with my guys. Like, being immortal was okay, but being a superhero is much more fun.
You're in full gear again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's your thoughts on that, Wise?
Like in reference to you talking about like us coming back and doing our thing?
Yeah, after 30 years.
I'm loving it. I'm hungry, as if it's my first time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Daddyo would let you know how hungry I am, because when I came in the beginning with Stetsasonic on Fire, and think about this, I was using only one of my talents. One, the human beatbox. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As we progressed with albums, little by little, my other talents started surfacing. So now with this album, I'm strictly MC. and I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? With this form of, with MCing, I'm very hungry. Right now, I'm hungry.
All right, he's turning into a beast, man. Honestly, before my eyes, it's weird. It's real weird because I never looked at Wise like he couldn't rhyme, because we all could rhyme. But in terms of Wise actually digging deep and being a lyrical beast, I'm not gonna tell you I expected it, but he's on some other shit right now. I can't even lie. Like I'll be brutally honest. Like, I put it this way. As we putting together this album, most of the time, I'm talking about 70 to 80% of the time that we working on these records, Wise is finished with his verse first. That's never happened in the history of this band.
Nah, never.
He's giving us ideas. He's like, yo, D, you should go, you know what you did, blah, 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 blah. You should go there. Mm-hmm. And he'd be right. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, he's engulfed this whole craft of MCing, like this whole world of it. You see what I'm trying to say? And it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. You know, Delight is always gonna be solid. When people hear that voice, he's never gonna be off. You know, conceptually, he knows what to do, because Delight is one of those guys that he always sit back and figure out what we doing to figure out what he need to do next to make it, to make it come pop together. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he did that on Africa. I mean, I could mention so many records that he did that on. But this, having this Wise, and this is just me saying this, it's like having a new person in the group. It's like I got a new MC in the group.
Which kind of leads me to my next question. So compare the creative dynamic on Now Y'all Giving Up and the new material to come to Golden Age Stet. And did some members become more vocal in the direction of the project compared to back in the day?
Yeah, for this one right here in particular, I'm a lot more vocal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I give off a lot of ideas and stuff. On this particular album, I've been really working hard on this album. Definitely.
Yeah, I think so. I think
I'm excited about it. Let's put it that way. I'm very excited about the album. I'm excited about using the new music and laying down our lyrics to it and stuff. I mean, I'm completely excited that, the second I hear the music, I just get an idea and I start writing right away.
That's true, because I send him a beat and about 30 minutes later, I'll have something on WhatsApp. Like, what do you think about this as a direction? You know what I mean? I do think that, so there's a little history piece for Stetsasonic to say. I love Stetsasonic as an incubator, right? Because later on I got into technology and started, dealing with digital incubators and stuff like that. Stetsasonic was my first incubator. So we were always all vocal. And I always say some of the arguments were the best things in the world, because those turned out great records, great performances, even sometimes great outfits, arguing about what to put on, turned out great outfits. So I think that we were all vocal, but I think that this is what I think. I think when you grow up and when you have no choice, right? When you're growing older, you have no choice, right? It's not an option. You say, oh, let me cut age off. You can't. So when you grow up, you should, at least in my opinion, you should develop to some degree. And I think that that's what happened. I think even now, we're all still growing. So the kind of conversations that we have to contribute are a lot different. And I might go out on a limb here and say it might be a little more exciting. I mean, I think it was exciting as young people too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was definitely exciting. You're young. You don't know what's going. You just going. Running out. Our first tour was overseas in Amsterdam with Dave Funkenklein. God bless the dead. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even the U.S. when we toured first. And so, but I think now it's just so. I don't know. I mean, and Wise could say if he feels like this, but for me to be a man at my age and spitting rhymes on this level, I'm I'm ecstatic.
Yeah.
I'm ecstatic because I'm like, yo, I was born before you, money. Like right now, you're supposed to be like blazing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I shouldn't be able to touch you, but in a kind of way I shouldn't. But the fact that I could get in that ass the way I do right now, I'm loving it, yo. I'm loving it.
Because they want us to think that hip hop is a young man's sport.
Yes.
But I mean,
exactly.
You got to look at it. Nas is in the zone right now.
He is.
Lauren is spitting again.
Yeah, Lauren's still the best. She's still the best, though. I mean, come on. Let's face it. Girl MCs, God bless y'all. Please don't come back and say, oh, I'm better than Lauren. Please don't do that. Don't do that.
So judging by the Locks and the Dipset versus battle, it speaks to the importance of chemistry in a group, especially. So how long did it take for you all to get that magic back together after the hiatus?
What you think, Wise?
I don't think that it took us really long, you know what I'm saying? Because one of the things about us is that we were always family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We were always family. So it never took long to get that chemistry back, you know, back together again and stuff like that. You know, we've always, you know, kept in contact and stuff like that, you know, we talked about personal things and this and that and that and this. And when the topic came up about, you know, working on a new album and stuff, everybody was with it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so in that area, and I don't even like using this terminology, but I'll use it here. In that area, we're very old school, right? We came up with Melly Mel and the Furious Five, and watching the Fearless Four, and watching the Fantastic Five, and watching the Treacherous Three, and the Mastodon Committee, and all of these guys. So we came up watching groups. Mostly, I mean, we expanded a little bit with us being a band, but mostly vocally doing a bunch of acrobatics across each other. And that's chemistry all the day for Ruby D to pass the mic to Whip, and Whip to pass it back to Kev. Like all of these are things that we grew up looking at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So by the time we became who we became, the concept of feeling, you know, Mel and them said it kind of cool in Super Rapping at the top when they said, we're gonna make 5 MCs sound like one. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the blueprint for all of the, you know, people that would call them groups, you know, multi-member acts at that time, you know, to really bounce off each other. You know, even if it was two people like Houdini, you know, RIP Ecstasy, even if it was two people like Houdini, the concept was, let's do this, man. Let's do that. So for us, it's not the chemistry that took time at all. It's just the studying of the landscape and figuring out how to hunt. You see what I'm trying to say? Because we might have used to hunt with big old elephant guns. Those ain't in style no more. You know what I'm saying? So you got to learn how to use the AK even if you don't want to. You see what I'm trying to say? So you gotta get the balance, because the elephant gun is real heavy. The AK is light, so you might. But once we get it, then we know what to do. So the whole issue is just us learning how to hunt again, which, you know, I'm super duper excited about this album. I always tell people, man, I say, man, listen, I don't brag about no Daddy-O stuff, but the Stet stuff, even before the single came out, I talked to a couple of DJs. I said, you're gonna love this record. They said, okay, Daddy-O, I hear you. And I'm like, I'm telling you, like the Stet, because the I don't know, it's it's not even tenacity. It's the thing that goes into Stetsasonic, like, you know what I'm saying? Like what it takes to make a Stetsasonic record, to be part of Stetsasonic as a group, to perform on stage next to one of us. All of us are looking at each other like, I gotta turn up because you know you're gonna do this later. I know you're gonna do this later. So I can't have you do this later and then I don't be looking like nothing on, you know what I'm saying? Like, the chemistry wasn't it. It was more of figuring out the pace, you know? And again, I make this claim that there's room for classic hip hop, but there's one prerequisite. Cats gotta make new records.
Records, that's right. That's right. I agree.
Yeah, me too. Because I'll listen to Rock the Bells radio on Sirius XM all the time, and occasionally they'll debut, which I believe they debuted.
Yeah, they did. Now, they playing the record. Yeah, shout out to LL for that. He actually hit me up and asked me for it, so that was dope.
Okay. Well, then let's take it back to the beginning. Let's take it back to 1979 in Brooklyn. Just talk about how the Stetson brothers came together and eventually became Stetsasonic.
Well, what happened with us was there was a group in Long Island called the Stetson Brothers that was the original Stetson Brothers. Jeff Green, Pudgy Pudge, Nathaniel, and Rocco. And they used to always have, you know, they was a little rap group out of Long Island. And I was rapping in New York. I didn't really know. I was trying to pull together a group. Delight was my friend. I was trying to pull together a little group and stuff, but I didn't know much about the whole thing. I just knew what everybody else knew, which was like going out, getting tapes, playing tapes. I had a box, all of that. Two of the guys that was in the original Stetson Brothers, one used to actually live on my block, the other one, but they used to be on the block. This is when hustling first started. So they started hustling. I never knew what they did. I just knew them as the guys I knew them as. I was walking down the street one day with a box and they asked me to come over. And they asked me to, you know, they was like, you rap? And I was like, yeah. They was like, yo, rap to that, rap to that. And I started rapping. But at that time, I sounded just like the guys in the Bronx because I didn't know how else to sound. So I was sounding like, to the beat, y'all, you know. Yes, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know. I was writing my own rhymes, but I didn't know how to sound I mean, I guess I had a different voice, but I didn't distinctly know how to sound like anything else. And they were just like, yo, you got a name? And I was like, yeah, I got a name. And it was like, what's your name? I was like, my name is Dr. On. It was like, F that. That's corny. Your name gonna be Daddyo. And you gonna run it down just like this. And they gave me the first rhyme that I ever had as Daddyo, like with a style that they call a gangster rock. Later on, they would tell me, they said, who's your favorite group? I said, Flash and them. They said, Stetson Brothers beat Flash and them. I said, nobody beat Flash and them. There's like, no, I wish I could find the tape. I'm glad, I'm mad right now that I lost the tape because they brought me the tape. And Pudge and them was tearing Melly Mel and them a new asshole with that same style that you hear Stetsasonic on records with. Because they taught us to rap, to rap slower. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't the fat, you know, remember the Bronx in the beginning, especially after Herc, a lot of that was what they call Afro disco or Cuban disco or that kind of stuff. It Latin kind of, yeah, and it's not Latin as in Spanish, but just in the congas and all of that. And a lot of it was fast. I Can't Stop, Paradise, all those records was real fast. And that's how they was rhyming. Stetson Brothers never rhymed to nothing fast. Everything started at that tempo or that Barry White. I want to give you a little bit more. Do 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 do. Always. And that's where they came and they taught me how to do it. Delight was my friend. We decided to form a group. I taught him how to do it. And then once we got serious, there was a brother in the neighborhood named Kevin Porter who actually became kind of like an arts development coach. And he's the one that brought us Wise and Fuquan. Because he was like, yo, you got to meet this guy. He could do this thing. He could do. And I was like, at that time, I grew up around the corner from Buffy. You know what I'm saying? Buff and Mark grew up around the corner from me. They was on Skank. I was on Hendrix. You know what I mean? So,
rest in peace to both of them.
Yeah, rest in peace to both of them. Yeah. So that he came to me and said, this guy, I was like, yeah, but Buff is the best. He's like, this guy could do what Buff can do and more. I was like, you're lying to me. And he brought Wise around, and Wise did like everything Buff did, and then like 80% more. scratching with his mouth, all of this stuff. I said, what you call yourself? He said, the Human Mix Machine. I said, this is perfect. Then he brought Fuquan to the group, and Fuquan was already a dope rhymer, but just needed, you know, somewhere to get it off. Getting with me and D, that was dope. And that's the way we kind of formed it. You know, it was like, I always say Stetsasonic formed like, you ever see those commercials where somebody's walking down the street and it's just them, and then somebody else joins, and then somebody else joins. Next thing you know, it's about. That's how I feel about the way we, you know, because we kept adding people with Prince Paul being well, really, Paul wasn't really the last, because Bobby was the last, because Bobby was a backup DJ for Red Alert at the Latin Quarter. We had Go Stetsa out with the live drums. And Bobby came to me one day, we had a show at the Latin Quarter, and said, yo, you should let me play the live drums. And I said, where? Anybody knows Latin Quarter, it's just a little teeny stage and then the dance floor. He said, down there. I said, you want us to be up there and you play the drums down there? And he said, yeah. I said, forget it, let's try it. And we tried it and it went off like a gem.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just like, okay, so we'll just add the drums as well. You know what I mean? And that's, I mean, you know, we're very, maybe not now because we a little more established, but I even like to like think this about our mind. We are very experimental in what we do. We will try stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when now y'all giving up love, we tried other concepts. This one just worked better.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to say, but we will try things. We will try things. If they don't work, we just throw them away.
Yep.
But we will try it. So that was the whole issue of even formulating Stetsasonic, was like, okay, because we already knew people already had rap groups with DJs. That was a very common thing, a rap group with a DJ. Okay. Yeah. What makes it stand out a little more? What can we do? So we started doing, the way we got our record deal is we started doing routines with Wise, and we got a record deal.
Yeah.
Just me, Delight, Wise. We just started doing routines. And then next thing you know, we was going around the city just, I mean, any kind, Wise, right? Any contest, we got in it.
Yeah, yeah. And it was one at the Roxy that it was a 3-way tie with us, Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick doing Lottie Dottie and Busy B.
Yep. And Busy B.
And at the time,
we had nothing out.
Yeah, exactly.
They all had records out.
They didn't know us from nothing. You know, Busy B was known, Doug and Slick Rick was known, but we wasn't known, you know what I'm saying, like the way they was. And it was a 3-way tie.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We always been about that smoke, man. That's one thing about us, man. I tell people all the time, we're a stage band first. So
yeah.
Whatever, bring it. You could bring whatever you think you bringing, but by the time I get through sitting down with these guys and discussing these ideas, come on, man. You gotta think about it, man. It's a lot of great minds in this band. You know what I mean? And we've been responsible for some great things in hip hop, you know. So we definitely got it for ourselves.
All right. So like we all know Stetsasonic is hip hop's first band. How was that received early on? I know you said that you all would get on the stage and, you know, bust anyone's ass lyrically and all of that, but like to the masses, like, was it something that was somewhat foreign, or they weren't expecting it because you're used to having an MC and a DJ? Or
I think it was those two things. I think it was foreign. I think it was unexpected, but I think it was well received.
Yeah.
Okay. You see what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't think that anybody in South Carolina expected to see some rap group come out there with a drum set. Right. You see what I'm trying to say? But and you got to understand, hip hop doesn't have the greatest relationship with live instrumentation, because when the golden era happens and people begin to start trying to do some band things, bands become bands, and it doesn't work out for the rappers because rappers need bands like James Brown's band. Mm-hmm. If it's not James's band, we don't need it. We probably couldn't even use Bootsy's band or George's band. And that's no disrespect to George Clinton or Bootsy Collins, but they're not playing a steady over and over. They want to switch it up. They want to do all types of stuff. So the relationship between those musicians that could be acquired and hip hop was totally different because they want to just play, and we just want you to play something very, very simple. So I can imagine being some kid or some fan that came out to see Eric B and Rakim or Houdini or LL and seeing this band that's going to open for them and seeing these drums on stage and saying, yeah, this is going to be janky. Like, what is this going to be? Lakeside? You know what I'm saying? And then we come out there and kill it on some hip hop. Then it's like, wow, that was different. So I would say it definitely was unexpected. They didn't know it was coming. It was definitely foreign to them because they had never seen it, but I think it was accepted.
Got anything to add on that, Wise?
As a hip hop band, we got to tour with with other bands.
Yeah, we did.
At the time, a lot of other groups didn't get that opportunity. Right. We did. Yeah. So that, we had a lot of fun with that. It was crazy, but it was fun. Yeah. Seeing rock band, we touring with rock bands and guys is jumping off the stage and diving head first on concrete, right? And then putting their hands up. I'm like, yo. But it was fun. It was fun, though.
It was fun.
So you're also known for being, innovators as far as the fusion of hip hop and jazz. And with your classic Talking All That Jazz, you was clapping back.
I was.
Clapping back at some of the artists in jazz genre for not like showing hip hop the respect,
right?
That it was just due. It was like talking to your little kid that thinks they know a lot about music.
Right.
So just talk about whether or not, the jazz artists sort of, started showing respect and love throughout the years after.
Well, I think that I think if we look at some of the things that are happening, and particularly in that kind of native tongue group, right? Mm-hmm. Then we do see a lot of the respect happening. You starting to see young jazz artists collaborate with hip hop artists, and not only on record, but in clubs like the Blue Note and stuff like that. I think probably most notably guys like Robert Glasper, but not ending at Glasper, but definitely. So I this is what I believe about hip hop, and maybe I'm just bullish. I believe we earned our respect. That's what I believe. I believe we had to almost bully our way into saying, you're going to look at us. You're going to pay attention. We're not what you think we are. We're better than what you're talking about. That's what all that, even the lyrics are talking all that jazz, that's what all that is about. Like, you don't put me in that kind of box, right? The real truth about hip hop is that it can't be put in a box. Jam Master Jay, God bless the dead, said in an interview, somebody asked him, they said, so what about this rap music, right? And Jay says, what is rap music? He said, because Run and D can rap to anything I play. So if I play polka, they'll rap to that. And Run DMC pretty much proved it because they rapped on all types of different rhythms. Mm-hmm. Mary Mary was one thing. The Aerosmith record was another thing. They showed that, right? That it's like, it's not really like that. So, it just took enough of us doing what we do to show that we can't be boxed in. So you can't say you're not this. We probably never will be jazz. We'll always be hip hop. And for the most part, we're music based on collage. where it's us rapping over James Brown, it's us rapping over Chic, it's us rapping over Claudia Berry or Shaka Khan. I mean, that's what we grew up doing, right? And I'm talking about, when I say we, I mean just that's what hip hop grew up doing. It's just borrowing some music and then flipping it our own way. You know what I mean? And so you can't box us in. I think they're starting to understand it a little more now, but I'm sure that there's some purists out there that still don't like us. You know what I mean?
So do you feel like the group, like as a collective and, you know, solo artists, do you feel like you all have gotten your just due? I mean, because, I mean, especially like with Paul, I mean, De La is one of my favorite groups.
Right.
And obviously he played a huge role in their early material. How do you feel about that?
I feel like what Wise said earlier, I think we still got more in the tank. I think it's not over. I said in one of my rounds, I said, they say it ain't over till the fat lady sing, till the squares get pinched and the goons are first string. I think it's a time. I think it's as long as you stay alive and you stay active, all of those accolades will actually come in, you know. And then sometimes, and I think about this from time to time, as to whether or not some of the accolades or some of the recognition even means as much, because to have, and Wise can attest to his own stories, and so can everybody in Stet, but to have a young boy come up to me, taller than me, well, everybody's taller than me, but you know, put his arm around me and go, yo, I'm a lawyer because of you. And I go, what? He says, yeah, man, you know, you guys came and played one time, and I remember I had a conversation and blah, 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 because that's always talking to somebody backstage or whatever. And, you know, I went and got my law degree, you know, so, you know, there are accolades that people have. Some are Grammys, some are platinum records, some are Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff, some are stars in Hollywood. I don't know if anything kind of compares to those kind of things. To look at the lives that we have changed, even throughout music. You know, there's people that we gave total careers that ended up somewhere because we gave them a shot. You know what I mean? And so, but I think that there's more to come. I think the beauty of it's so much benefit to making a new record, man, if it's good. So much. It's just got to be good. If it's not good, then, like I said, you got egg on your face, because like, what the hell? This nigga just stayed in the closet. Why is he rapping again? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when the record is good, there's so much to benefit from that, because probably right away, people begin to notice you, because like even some of the people that I might, you know, do others type of work with outside of the music business, if they discover, if I say something to them about something current, let's just say Now Y'all Giving Up Love, and they check that out, they take a little bit of time, because you know nowadays everything is all linked on YouTube and everything, they link you up.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden they see that, but then they look and they see something from 1988.
Yeah.
Like, hold up, this is the same guy I was just talking to. I know this is a new song because he looks just like that right now. You know what I mean? But this is something he made from 88. You see what I'm trying to say? So I think that just dessert thing for Stetsasonic works on a different level.
Yeah, and I think that the savviness of the internet user,
right,
like also makes it beneficial, because like you said, they'll listen to Now Y'all Giving Up Love, and then they're gonna go to Tidal or Spotify or Apple, and then they're gonna go check out the older material.
Yes.
And rediscover, you know, your contributions, or
absolutely,
go check out a Grave Diggers album, or check you out on Freestyle Fellowship.
Yeah, all of that. So I think we just got to work we all got to work toward it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just I feel proud about us because of the trajectory and the path that we've taken. You know, one thing I love about Stetsasonic is, and I don't mean no disrespect to nobody else, and I'm not gonna be harsh here. I'm not gonna be brash. But one thing I love about Stetsasonic is the element of grown men. You know what I mean? That enthralls me to know that, you know, I'm dealing with grown men. I'm dealing with grown men that have families, that have responsibilities, that, you know, that have all of these particular things. Because remember, when we got together, Wise was super young. Paul, we had to get we actually had to have Miss Houston sign a paper for Paul to be in the group. You see what I'm trying to say? So to see people grow into being men, I mean, I think that's for all the marbles right there, because you can't, it's like now you can't be denied in two territories. There are some people that are our age, and right now I'm just speaking for me and Wise. I can speak for everybody, but me and Wise is here. There's some people that are in our age group that have never done anything but music. So this is what happens. Depending on the position that they're in, if the music don't pop, they kind of slumming. You know what I mean? And then they don't become the grown men that they supposed to be, because you can't if you slumming.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I think that just being around a bunch of responsible grown men and making records with them, that's for all the marbles to me, because we could finish vocals and go to dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that means everything to me.
So. All right, so De La just got, you know, finally was able to get their masters back.
Their masters, yeah.
From Tommy Boy. Stet signed to Tommy Boy as well?
Stetsasonic was and is still signed to Tommy Boy. Yeah, I mean, that's a conversation. We're dealing with it as we speak. But yeah, it's a conversation to be had down the line. They were bought by so Tommy Boy was bought by Reservoir Music about 4 months ago.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to anybody. You know, I know the guys, but I haven't talked to anybody in De La about, you know, what that's about. That could just easily be like Reservoir just saying, yeah, of course you got your masters. Like, we don't even really have a right to have these. You see what I'm trying to say? So we're not really sure, but we're checking into it. I mean, again, you know, we'll be fine.
Okay, great. Now, Stop the Violence movement, self-destruction, assembling the lineup. Like, how did Stet get involved in self-destruction?
Pretty much the same way everybody else did. I mean, it was just, you know, Chris had started the Stop the Violence movement, and they just went out there and asked, you know, most of the people that he knew, or at least liked, to be on the record, you know. And of course we was gonna say yeah. I mean, the one thing I love about a fun fact about self-destruction, Stetsasonic owns more real estate on that song than anybody else.
Yeah.
The lights at the top.
In the beginning, me and you are in the middle, and Food is at the end.
Exactly. So we're on that record more than anybody else on the planet. So I love that part. But yeah, Chris, I mean, you know, Chris wanted to do it, and he did it. And I think it was a great idea. And you know, I'm glad the people who got involved. I remember when there was a little tuffle about whether Public Enemy could even do it. You know, that's why in the video you only see Flavor with us. And Chuck's not there, but finally they got it together and they was able to shoot their piece and insert it. But yeah, I mean, you know, we answered the call. We do that a lot. I mean, we did it in Africa. You know, Africa. Yeah. Seems like I'm saying God bless the dead a lot, but R.I.P. Danny Snyder, Danny Schechter. They used to call him Danny Schechter, the news dissector. He was with ABC 2020. The publicist at Tommy Boy introduced us to him. We went up to his place that was in like near Lincoln Center. He played this videotape of apartheid and the necklacing, and putting the gas, the tires around people's head and putting the gas and then lighting it up. And it was a horrible thing to see what was going on in South Africa. He just turns back around at me and says, "Why aren't you talking about this, Daddy-O? Ain't that what rappers do?" You know what I'm saying? And so that was just answering a call. I mean, the only other records that were done anti-apartheid were by collections of people, Sun City, all that. No one group took that on. We took that on as an issue.
All right, so you just mentioned Chuck D. He's an executive producer on Now Y'all Giving Up Love.
Yes.
Just talk about the business relationship now. I think the distribution company is
right. So I've been signed, me personally, been signed to Chuck's Spit Slam label since 2016. It's not rocket science. I'm just not gonna do nothing. I'm gonna make records. I ain't trying to get myself on Spotify, none of that. I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? So trusting Chuck and knowing him for that long, I started rocking with him. And then, there's some other things that he does for artists that nobody else does. Like he doesn't make any money off of it or nothing. Mm-hmm. He just gives us a thing and lets us do our thing. So I've been doing that for a while. So when it came down to doing this record, I mean, we had a couple of options in terms of putting it out independently. It would probably take time for us to actually go with a major distributor, which is not out of the question. It's just got to be right. So, we decided to just go ahead and keep it in the same pipeline. And Spit Slam is a hell of a situation. I mean, if you look at the roster over there, it's all real art. You know what I mean? Like everything at Spit Slam is real art. It's not, ain't no fluff there. Ain't no, let's put this out because it could sell 1 million copies or be the next big thing on TikTok. We may end up selling 1 million copies and being the next big thing on TikTok, but it won't be because we striving and we aiming for that. And, Chuck's always been our friend. We had some great times with Chuck D and the band and their band, because when we went out on a lot of big tours, we would share tour buses with Public Enemy. So yeah, I mean, it's a great situation. Spit Slam is a great place to be. And we're happy to be able to do what we do stress-free, because that's important when you're a grown man. When you're a grown man, the lack of stress is important.
Oh, yeah, I'm all about peace and tranquility.
Oh yeah.
Making grown man music.
That's what we're doing, making grown man music.
All right, so as we prepare to close, Wise, Daddy-O was speaking before you got on the call about like 5 albums that would be put in a time capsule. So I'd love to know your 5 if you have.
Wow, my top 5 you talking about, right?
Now it doesn't have to be strictly hip hop. If you want to go into other genres, you
like other genres. Okay. Wow, I never really gave that any thought. That's a really good question. I definitely NWA and Eazy, those are 2 of them that
I know that is, because let me say this and then finish. Wise and Eazy was close. Wise and Ren was very close. So Wise got along with NWA. That's they man right there. That's NWA man right there.
You have a story? You have an Eazy story?
Yeah, back then, because Eazy had my, my home phone number, and we used to talk all the time. You know what I'm saying? Eazy has sent me NWA's album, their T-shirts. He sent me a whole bunch of stuff before it came out. And I was like, posters, everything. I mean, because we used to talk all the time on the phone. And thing about it, I was a Eazy-E supporter even before he hit the East Coast and got that large. When he dropped his single, I picked it up right away, right, Daddy-O, and I was big radio,
of course, blasting it on my big box. You know what I'm saying? All the time. People used to be like, "Who that?
I said, it's his brother named Eazy E. You know what I'm saying? He's from the West Coast, this and that, and this. I said, watch in time. I said, they gonna blow up. I said, he gonna blow up. I said, he got a group, NWA, they gonna blow up. Watch. I said, give it some time, and sure enough, they did.
Yeah, it's true. So, all right. So NWA and Eazy-E are 2 records.
Yeah, that's definitely.
What's the other 3? Or do you know?
Public Enemy, I love their first album.
Yo Bum Rest the Show.
Yes, I love that.
That's a hard record. That's a hard record. That's my favorite Chuck D record in all of life is Time Bomb.
Yeah.
You go, what?
People treat me like a
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
What?
That album, I mean, I probably like a lot of the old school stuff.
That's
you know
fine.
What I'm saying?
That's fine.
You know, so Public Enemy, their first 2 albums I really loved and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
You at 4 now.
Okay.
You only got 1 left.
I would definitely say those 4 because I used to play them all the time anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta have a stat in there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like
which one?
I think the Info Gear album, between that and our first album, and the reason why I say, because the first album we were so hungry and it was so raw.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That first album was so raw, and I mean, I loved it. At the first album, I still, till this day, I still play the first album. And when I listen to the beats and stuff and the rhymes, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I said, these guys were really hungry. I mean, they was really, really hungry and stuff like that, that I'm like, that one inspired me now.
Yeah.
You know, as to how I am now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because back then, during that first album, the hunger that these guys had for that album is the hunger that I have for this new Stet album.
Dope.
So that On Fire album is definite, you know, definitely it, yeah.
Okay. So like just as we prepare to close, just talk about any upcoming projects. We know we had the album coming up. Is there an anticipated release date?
No release date yet. We're still working on records, but we do have some finished records, which is great because of the atmosphere now. So we could just move on to like shooting another video. Mm-hmm. We got 2 big shows coming up in New York. One is huge. One is the 28th of August. We're doing Stetsasonic and Friends. We're bringing MOP and AZ and Master Ace and Das Effects. It's going to be huge. It's just like a Stetsasonic Go Brooklyn 40th anniversary. And then we're also doing something with the Universal Hip Hop Museum on the 19th, which is a larger show. It's not our show, but it's the largest show for them. And that's Stetsasonic, Big Daddy Kane, Mano, CNC Music Factory, Crystal Wars, a bunch of people that we're doing that. So we're doing those, working on some tour stuff, trying to figure out like what that looks like, if that looks like the US first or if that looks like overseas first. And then, you know, and then we got a couple of, you know, I mean, I don't know when we probably won't stop, but we got a few more albums planned. We got some ideas lined up. I'm in negotiation and talks with Wise every day about his solo record and what that feels like, what it sounds like, what it is. Yeah, so it's just a bunch, you know me, I'm gonna keep putting out records. So I got this First Team record. It's finished. I got one more thing to do. But yeah, we just gonna keep on knocking it out, man. I mean, we in the cycle now. We in a groove now. We know how to record it now. So we just gonna
and I gotta thank Daddy-O because, you know, if it were not for him, I wouldn't have my own recording studio and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So and the thing about it is that with having a recording studio, you know, Like you can get in anytime you want and stuff, and you tend to get more creative and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is that you know, when Daddy-O put me up on it and stuff, you know, little by little I was playing here and there, and you know, and messing with stuff, and that also helped develop you know, my rhyming skills and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And Daddy-O was the one that suggested to me, well, how come you don't do a solo album? You should do a solo album and this and that and that and this. And I was very hesitant for real. You know what I'm saying? And Daddy was like, yo, you know, you got a lot better and stuff. You know, you should try it. You should work on it and this and that and that and this. So that's the reason why I'm working on a solo album.
Okay. All right. So plug the single, plug social media. Where can we find Now Y'all Giving Up Love? And if you want to leave us with, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. If we want to leave you with what?
Now I was gonna say, if you want to leave us with some parting shots about anything, like Daddy-O, if you have a story about any of the legends we've lost recently, that's cool too.
Yes, that's been hard. Let me go to the first stuff. So the first stuff is it's available everywhere now. We'd like you to go to our Bandcamp or just go to stetsasonic.com. I'm just brutally honest and transparent. We make more money that way. But it's available everywhere. It's all over Deezer, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Tidal. It's all over. So that's there. Stetsasonic.com is there. We are constantly improving on the site. Right now, it's a little more of a store. With the t-shirts and the sweatshirts and the records, but we're gonna grow it out and have some thought up there and you know all of that kind of stuff. We can be found pretty much anywhere on the internet. I mean, all you gotta do is kind of you know search us out. But there is an official that we're still growing. There is an official Stetsasonic Facebook page. There is an official Stetsasonic Instagram page called Just Say Stet. But you could always follow any of us individually. Me, Bobby Wise, you get a lot. I'm always popping crap, so I'm always out there doing stuff. But yeah, definitely, you know, go to stetsasonic.com. We would love you to just stay there. You know, go there once a week. See if there's something else that you want to get into. Whatever. The single, we got about 4 remixes on that joint. I mean, I just actually so the streaming just became available today. And I am getting some incredible responses on these remixes. Like, it's unreal to me because I know, you know, I kind of anticipate people could kind of like the original version because it's a good record. Mm-hmm. But then, you know, to hear people are loving these remixes, man. And, you know, it's something that I wanted to do. Like, it's like, because I asked myself that, you know, what happened to remixes?
Yeah.
You know, and remixes were like, remixes and then they turned into the same record with somebody else spitting a new rhyme. You know, like you say the Annie Up remix, but it's the same beat. It's just Busters on it now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, what happened to remixes where people strip the music and put new music in and give it a whole new feel? And so, you know, shout out to M-Rock and C-Doc and DJ Say What, you know, for even, you know, taking the challenge, man, to try to do, you know, something with Stetsasonic and those voices. So, but yeah, man, I mean, and then I don't know, when maybe Wise might want to talk. I mean, it's tough for me, but pretty much everybody that we lost, man, we all had great relationships with them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, I went to high school with Markie D, you know what I'm saying, with Prince Markie D and stuff. And it's funny because back then we used to be in the hallway and I used to kick the beat and stuff and they used to rap off of it. You know what I'm saying? You know, we had a pretty good relationship and stuff like that. And Biz was I mean, don't get me wrong, with everybody it was hard, but with Biz it was hard for me. You know what I'm saying? Because Biz was the type of individual that he was so full of life. You know what I'm saying? That you know, for him to be gone, I'm like, you know, I took it really hard. I took it really, really hard and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time when we was somewhere, I forgot where we was, that they wanted me and Biz to demonstrate a human beatbox. You know what I'm saying? So I get on the mic first and I'm kicking the beat, doing, you know, whatever, rolls, scratches, this and that and this. And then Biz turn. And Biz start doing something and laughing and this and that and that and this. And when it's my turn, I'm trying to kick the beat, but I cannot because I bust out laughing. You know what I'm saying? And I continue to laugh. Every time I grab the mic and try to kick the beat, I cannot because I'm thinking about Biz. I said, Biz, go ahead, you do it, man. But, you know, that was a good memory. Very good memory.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So, fellas, thank you for your time today. Thank you for your contributions.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us
throughout the year. Bro. Like I said, now y'all giving up love. Available now.
Yes.
Get it off their Bandcamp site.
Yeah.
So they can make more money. Well deserved.
Yeah.
New music coming out beyond that as well.
Yes.
So be on the lookout for it on stetsasonic.com. And for Stop, Look, and Listen, I'm your host, LaTroy Gardner. See you next week. Peace and blessings.
Thank you for checking us out on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe for more great content. And don't forget to check us out on social media at GOB Radio Network.